In a quiet neighborhood where children played freely, two mothers lived side by side. Mrs. Esther was firm and structured, believing in rules. Mrs. Joy was gentle and trusting, letting her children learn naturally. Their homes shared more than walls. They shared laughter, meals, and deep friendship that made everyone feel safe. Their children, Michael and Peace, were inseparable. At 13 and 12, they'd grown up together like siblings. They did homework in the same room, shared snacks, and told each other secrets. Where one went, the other followed. Their bond was pure, innocent, and beautiful to watch unfold daily. Both mothers worked hard to provide for their families. Mrs. Esther believed in watching closely, asking questions, setting boundaries. Mrs. Joy believed in freedom, thinking children learn best through experience. Different paths, same destination, or so they thought. Neither knew their differences would soon be tested in ways they never imagined. One bright Saturday morning, Mrs. Joy surprised her daughter with a tablet. "For schoolwork and learning," she said with a warm smile. Peace's eyes sparkled with excitement. She hugged her mother tightly, promising to use it wisely. It seemed like a simple gift, a tool for education, nothing more than that. Michael saw the tablet and felt a twinge of envy, but Peace quickly invited him to use it too. Mrs. Esther agreed, seeing no harm in sharing between trusted friends. The children sat together, exploring educational apps and funny videos. Everything seemed innocent. The mothers smiled, glad their children had something productive to enjoy. Days passed peacefully. The children watched cartoons, played games, and searched for homework answers together. But curiosity is a powerful force, especially in young minds. One afternoon, while clicking through suggested videos, they stumbled upon content that made them pause. It wasn't educational. It felt strange, forbidden, yet strangely fascinating to their innocent eyes. "Should we watch this?" Peace whispered nervously. Michael hesitated, his heart beating faster. The thumbnail showed adults in ways they'd never seen before. Something inside warned them to stop, but curiosity whispered louder. They clicked. What appeared on screen confused them, bodies moving strangely, sounds they didn't understand. They watched in stunned silence. They didn't tell anyone. Shame mixed with curiosity kept their mouths sealed. That night, Michael couldn't sleep. Peace lay awake too, replaying the images in her mind. The next day, they acted normal, but something invisible had shifted between them. A secret now lived in the space where only innocence had existed before. The tablet became their obsession. Whenever their mothers left for the market or errands, they locked the door and explored further. Videos led to chat rooms. Chat rooms led to conversations with strangers who seemed friendly but asked strange questions. "How old are you? Where do you live? Send me your picture." Danger dressed as friendship. The once lively compound grew quieter. The children stopped playing outside. Their laughter became rare and forced. Mrs. Esther noticed Michael spending more time indoors, but when she asked, he said he was studying. Mrs. Joy saw Peace's distant eyes but believed her daughter was simply growing up, becoming more private with age. Weeks passed. The children began imitating what they saw online. At first, it was playful, awkward touches, nervous giggles, pretending to be grown-ups. But slowly, the line between curiosity and action blurred. They didn't understand what they were doing, only that it felt both exciting and deeply wrong. Confusion clouded their young minds. One humid afternoon, their mothers attended a community meeting. The children knew they had hours alone. Peace suggested they try something they'd seen in a video. Michael hesitated, remembering how guilty he'd felt before. But Peace insisted, saying everyone online did it. Reluctantly, he agreed. They locked the door and crossed a line innocence cannot uncross. Afterward, silence filled the room. Peace began crying softly, pulling away from Michael. He felt sick to his stomach, knowing something terrible had happened. "I'm sorry," he whispered. She couldn't look at him. They cleaned up quickly, deleted their browser history, and pretended everything was normal when their mothers returned home that evening. Peace stopped talking to Michael. Days turned into a week. She avoided him at school, took different routes home, and stayed in her room constantly. Mrs. Joy noticed her daughter's sadness but couldn't understand why. "Did you and Michael fight?" she asked gently. Peace shook her head, tears streaming down her face, unable to speak the truth. Michael felt horrible. Guilt ate at him daily. He tried apologizing at school, but Peace walked away. At night, he stared at his ceiling, replaying everything, wishing he could undo what happened. Mrs. Esther saw her son's torment and asked questions, but he said nothing. The weight of his secret grew heavier with each passing day. Then something unexpected happened. Peace approached Michael one afternoon. "Let's try again," she whispered. Michael was shocked. "No, Peace. Last time was wrong." But she insisted, saying maybe it would feel better this time, maybe it would erase the guilt. Against his better judgment, he agreed. The tablet had taught them persistence, not wisdom. The following Saturday, both mothers attended another meeting. The children waited until the compound was silent, then locked the door again. But this time, fear mixed with their actions. Peace trembled. Michael's hands shook. They were about to repeat their mistake when they heard footsteps approaching. Heavy, purposeful footsteps that made their hearts stop completely. "Michael!" "Peace! Why is this door locked?" Mrs. Esther's voice cut through the silence like thunder. Panic exploded in the room. The children scrambled to fix themselves, hide the tablet, look normal. But it was too late. The doorknob rattled violently. "Open this door right now." Mrs. Joy's voice joined in. Both mothers had returned early unexpectedly. Michael opened the door with trembling hands. Both mothers stood there, faces filled with confusion and growing suspicion. The room felt wrong, air thick, children's faces guilty, something unspoken hanging heavily. "What's going on here?" Mrs. Joy demanded. Silence. Mrs. Esther walked in slowly, her eyes scanning everything, her mother's instinct screaming that something was terribly wrong. "Tell us the truth. Now." Mrs. Esther's voice was firm but not harsh. Michael broke first. Tears poured down his face as words tumbled out. The tablet, the videos, the chat rooms, the touching, the secrets, everything. Peace sobbed uncontrollably. The mothers stood frozen, their faces shifting from confusion to shock to absolute horror. Mrs. Joy collapsed into a chair, unable to breathe properly. Mrs. Esther wrapped her arms around both children, tears streaming down her own face. "How did we not see this?" she whispered. The room filled with crying, children's shame, mother's grief, friendship's pain. The tablet sat on the bed, silent witness to innocence stolen by screens and secrets. The mothers didn't shout or punish immediately. They recognized that damage was already done. What their children needed now was help, not more hurt. They arranged counseling sessions for both families. The therapist explained how curiosity, combined with unsupervised internet access, creates dangerous situations. Understanding began replacing blame. Slowly, painfully, healing started taking root in broken soil. Weeks turned into months. Life in the compound slowly transformed. The children attended therapy, learning about boundaries, bodies, consent, and healthy relationships. Michael and Peace's friendship changed, no longer innocent, but becoming something more mature, respectful, and honest. They learned that mistakes don't define you, but how you heal from them does. Mrs. Esther and Mrs. Joy also changed. Esther learned that rules without communication create distance. Joy learned that freedom without guidance creates danger. Together, they established new household rules, shared passwords, supervised screen time, open conversations about uncomfortable topics, and most importantly, presence over presence. Their different parenting styles finally found balance through painful wisdom. Today, the compound lives again with careful joy. Children play outside under watchful eyes. Laughter returns, but so does awareness. The mothers learned that love alone cannot protect, only love combined with vigilance can. Their story became a lesson for the entire neighborhood. Innocence can vanish in one click, one secret, one unlocked moment. Watch closely, parents. Watch before it's too late. Did this story touch your heart? Have you ever trusted too much, only to realize the danger too late? Share this with every parent you know. Let's protect our children together, before screens steal what we can never give back. Comment below with your thoughts. Subscribe for more stories that matter.